Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. I am James and you are watching Blue Dog Reptiles. Now I apologize about not having a video last Friday. I had some family stuff come up that I needed to deal with. But don't you fret, we are back. What are you doing way up there? Today we are talking about the care guide of the awesome Chinese water dragon. You can see he's just loving life up there. Now, Chinese water dragons come from China. And they also come from Vietnam, southern China, a little bit all over in the region. Now, one of the things to know about Chinese water dragons, they are no longer imported from China. China's actually put a ban on it. Yes, we are talking about you. So you can no longer import them into the United States. These guys are insectivores. Let's see if we can slide open the glass. But they do like fish as well. Yes, we're talking about you. Hi. These guys are absolutely amazing swimmers. They will swim around and have fun and climb around. One of my favorite animals in my shop. Lifespan in captivity, they're about 10 to 15 years. This one right here is about 9 months old. And you can see he's starting to go through shed. You can actually see the white coloration on his head. So he is growing like a weed. Yes, we're still talking about you. The size of these guys is the problem that a lot of people run into, and that's typically that these guys can grow 3 to 4 feet. Now that is from snout to tip of the tail, and I know you can't see it, but like his tail goes all the way down there. He is about 2.5 foot right now, 2.5 foot, something like that. I haven't measured him recently. He gets kind of squiggly when you try to hold him. But here's the thing is, this, even at this size, and even full grown, he could live his whole life in this setup. But we would probably eventually bump him to a larger enclosure. But he needs a massive enclosure. Minimum is 5 by 2 by 3. This current enclosure is 6 by 4 by, I think it's 2 feet deep. I haven't measured it in a while. And I have a lot of different enclosures. Now, these guys also need water. They are, after all, called a Chinese water dragon. They swim a lot. This guy enjoys swimming. We find him all over different parts, and you can see just in this, it's a bioactive. And if you haven't seen the big build of this, jump over to our Blue Dog Aquatics channel and watch it. It's a 4-part video, but it shows the entire build and creation of this enclosure. While we're at it, thank you to all the new subscribers. We really appreciate you guys. The channel is growing like crazy, and that's all thanks to you guys. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing, hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. And leave us a comment on what do you think of the Chinese water dragon. Do you think it's the right one for you? But as you can see, everything in here are live plants. We have driftwood, we have lots of ivies and plants, and there's actually an active waterfall over here. Let's see if we can. The plants are growing in so much that it's hard to see the waterfall now. But there's also a drip wall over here, so that really helps out with the humidity. Now, price of these guys, the dragon itself is not that expensive. The dragon itself is only about 50 bucks. They are actually getting harder to find. Oh, I know. Can you believe it? They're hard. It's hard to find you. I love this guy. He uses such facial expressions. But they are getting harder and harder to find. But that's not the expensive part. The expensive part is actually building them the enclosure that they need, and with the water system and the filtration, that does add up. Now, temperature, you want to make sure that you have basking spots, which you can see his basking spot up there. It should be between 90 and 95 degrees with an overall ambient temperature between 75 and 85 degrees. You act like that's wrong. You love it. Humidity should be 80%. When you have this many things in this tank, between the live moss that's actually down in the water, which pulls up the humidity in here, and then we actually have misting system in here. There's actually multiple quad heads in here that mist all the plants, and that spikes the humidity. You also need UVB for these guys as well, which is sitting in the back and above, which he's actually sitting underneath one right now. Oh, I know, I can't believe it either. Now, level of care for these guys, I would put as intermediate. Not because the dragon is roughly or scary. These are actually one of the friendliest dragons that you can get, aside from a bearded dragon. They have quite the personality on them, but I say intermediate because of the build that they need. That's a lot of money that goes into a full setup that these guys need. So like I said, you're going to be spending about $50 in the dragon, but you could spend thousands in the actual build. And it's funny because this home was actually supposed to be for an Australian water dragon, but they're even harder to find than these guys. But we can do a video on an Australian water dragon later if you guys want, to show the difference and the comparison between the Chinese and the Australian. But yeah, awesome animals. They are great with handling if they're worked with. He doesn't always like being touched, but he's a great eater. They do love their food. I don't have food right now. I don't. Can I touch you? Can I hold your hand? Can I hold you? Oh, thank you. What, you don't like me holding your hand? No? I'm so sorry. What? Don't give me that attitude. I just want to hold your hand. Is that okay? But, I mean, you can see, even with him, he's off. And you can see, when you build these enclosures for a Chinese water dragon, you need lots and lots of climbing space. Plenty of space where they can move around and go to the different environments. If it's more humid toward the bottom or more humid toward the top, they're gonna figure that out, but we want what's best for these guys. Can you say hello? But yeah, I mean, you can see that tail just goes and goes. These guys aren't that ferocious. They act like it, but they're not. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you want to say goodbye? Do you want to say goodbye? Do you want to say goodbye? Huh? Do you want to say goodbye? There we go. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, I love your family, but love your reptiles more.